I decided to not brush my teeth for an entire week, and this is what happened, and the results might just shock you. But first, as always, subscribe and stick around to the end to implement these tips and tricks into your life. Now, I've been doing a lot of fluoride research recently, and I realised that fluoride is something that's very common inside of toothpastes, and if you're in the US, it's also inside of your tap water, and I can only assume this because many Americans must not just brush their teeth and stuff like that. If you're European, then you don't have to worry about this because it's banned by many European governments, but in the US, they must regulate it or something. I don't really know how the politics work, but I also did a lot of research on the effects that fluoride has on health, and in children and in large amounts, it can have a lot of bad issues. If, like, when you drink tap water that's got fluoride in it, or you swallow some toothpaste, it can cause things like dental and skeletal fluorosis, which is where your bones and teeth get very weak, and it can also cause a lot of brain issues where the fluoride must block some different chemical reactions from happening or whatever, and that's quite a big issue considering how fragile our brain ecosystem probably is. And when there's a reason like kiddie toothpaste and stuff have a lot less fluoride in them than adult toothpaste, and that's because if they accidentally swallow the toothpaste or it gets absorbed through the mouth, cheeks and gums and stuff, realistically it can have a bad impact on their brain health and their brain development at a young age, because fluoride isn't really something that's supposed to be in our body whatsoever. And while it does undeniably have benefits for our teeth, for our brain health and for our bodily health, it may not be something that's actually so good for us at all. And that's why toothpaste and stuff has massive do not swallow signs on it, because fluoride, when swallowed and absorbed in large quantities in the bloodstream, can cause the bad effects that I talked about earlier. And I was wondering, how on earth am I going to be able to get rid of toothpaste from my life? And I was having a chat to a guy on Discord, and he said to just use a toothbrush and water. No toothpaste, but just act as if you're brushing your teeth as normal, but just without the toothpaste, and act as if it's not really there. And so I decided to do that for an entire week. And yeah, these two things are the main things that I discovered from doing this little experiment. And the first one is nothing to do with health and more to do with validation and insecurities. And even though it's summer holidays for me, I'm not seeing so many people on a day-to-day basis like I would if I was in school. I still felt quite insecure and quite lacking validation and stuff, because I would check my teeth every single time that I would finish brushing my teeth without the toothpaste in the mirrors and stuff, just checking for any yellow spots, because it's quite mad how toothpaste and it's necessary to have good teeth. It's ingrained into our brains since the age of 5 or whatever. We, as humans, we assume that someone who doesn't brush their teeth has unhealthy teeth, and someone who does has healthy teeth. Even though, while that may be true, they may not have healthy bodies and stuff like that. But it's interesting how since the age of 4 or 5, we've had this sort of belief ingrained into us. And while it may be true to some extent, it's just an interesting social construct that I figured out and understood once doing this experiment. And the second thing that I discovered while doing this experiment was that fluoride can have some detrimental effects, and the research that I've done has kind of half been proved. I mean, it's not scientifically proven or whatever, but from my own experiences, it has kind of been proved to be something that may not be so good for us. Because while I did say that I had not used toothpaste for a week, I did accidentally use it once halfway through, around 3 days in, and I felt quite weird afterwards. I've said this before, and another guy felt the same way once he used toothpaste after a while again, and I felt quite odd afterwards. I didn't have any carbs, I had no sugar, this wasn't a sugar crash that I was feeling, yet I felt quite tired and lethargic, and my brain just felt a bit odd. Even though I hadn't had any carbs, and feeling tired after carbs is something that's quite normal, and although I don't eat too many carbs, I try to avoid a lot of refined sugars and carbs. I still eat carbs because I want to eat them and stuff for my bulking journey and stuff. But the fact is, I hadn't eaten any carbs that day, and I had this mishap in the mornings. Many people brush their teeth in both mornings and evenings, and in the morning I brushed my teeth with toothpaste on accident, and then I realized that I was really, really weird. I felt really weird and tired, and I realized that, oh yeah, I'd accidentally brushed my teeth with actual toothpaste just a couple hours ago. And so maybe that would be the reason that I feel so weird and tired, despite having not had any porridge oats or any sugary things today. And it seems to line up with the story of my other guy that I talked to on Discord who had quite a bad experience after using fluoride toothpaste after a whole week of not using it. And now I've decided to use it again after another 3 days of like having that mishap. And I've not felt so bad since then. I felt all right since. I've not had the same kind of weird symptoms that I had before. But maybe it isn't something that should be used on like such a regular basis. And maybe fluoride-free toothpastes are the future and should be the things that are like more commonly promoted in society to give people better health and make sure that people are actually kind of living and fulfilling their best potentials. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you found value out of this little experiment that I did where I didn't brush my teeth for an entire week and saw what may happen once I start brushing my teeth again. So yeah, with that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I also recommend subscribing because I like this community of young tribal people who are willing to improve themselves so much more than they already have, and good luck.